Hello, welcome to my new video. Today we are going to cover an alternative to VLOOKUP function, which are index and match functions. These functions used as a combination to extract data from a table or a dataset. What index function does is, when you give the coordinates of a search key, it can find and extract that data. For example, when we are looking for this ID, unique ID, let's copy this here. When we say index function, to find it, we have to tell which row and which column it should go and extract the data. For example, we are going to find this number ID. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So row number is 12. And suppose that we would like to fetch the email address for that person. So 1, 2, and 3. So let's write in our index function, starting with equal sign, and then we type index. Reference is our table, going all the way down. As a good practice always, it is good to lock the range by pressing F4 key, and then we do a comma. So row was, we had counted 12, I think, 12, and which column we are looking for, 1, 2, 3, to get the email address for that person. So when I hit enter, it's going to fetch this email address for the unique ID. So it's working like a coordinate based map. For example, if we go to Google Maps and type Istanbul, and it fetches the data. For instance, when I click on some place on it, then it gives the coordinates for this town in Istanbul, so that when we enter these coordinates into our navigation, it can take us to that address. So likewise, when we give the row number and column index to index function, it can fetch the data, the demanded data, to find the row number and column index. We are going to use another function, which is match. So what match function does, when we type the key, search key, for example, this one, and it's asking for the range is here, the ID column. So we go all the way down. Again, as a good practice, we are looking the range by pressing F4 key, and then we do a comma, then it says search type. It is the same logic with VLOOKUP function. If I say 0 here, then it's going to find the exact match. So it tells us 12. This 12 means that the row number in this range for this unique ID is 12. So when we copy this formula without the equal sign into our existing index function here, instead of this 12, I am going to paste our formula here. So instead of hard coding 12, now it can search for it and find the row number for this unique ID. If I change it to change with something else like this one, then it is going to tell us it is the row number 6 and the email address is this one. And as you remember, when we talk about this index function, besides reference, we said we have to declare the row number in the data set or the table, but we also have to say the column index. So with the same logic, we can also find the column index with match function again. For example, let's do our match, and the search key, let's say email here, And where to look up for this search key? Here in this range. Again, press F4 key to lock the range, and then for an exact match we type 0 and hit enter. So it says 3 here, which is the column index. So if we want to extract the email address for a unique ID, we have to declare that the column index for email address is 3. So again, if I copy this formula without the equal sign and hit escape, come here, go inside the cell, and instead of this hard coding 3, we can paste our formula here and we can find the same result. If I change it, for example, not C1, but let's say phone, which is 4th column in the range, and sorry, not here, of course here. If I change it to D1, then we are going to get the phone number for this person. Likewise, if I say B1 here, we can get the name for this unique ID. So let's quickly fill this form up. We are going to search for Sophia Robinson in this range, and we are going to look for phone. So start with index. Unlike VLOOKUP function, we don't have to highlight the entire table. Instead, we can simply highlight the results range. So if we are looking for phone number, I can simply highlight this column here, press F4 key, then comma. Now we are going to find at which row this Sophia Robinson sits in this table. So in order to find it, we will type match, and for this one as a key, comma, range is here. Again, go all the way down, press F4 key to lock it, then do a 0 and close the parentheses for match function. And because we already highlighted this phone column in the index reference section, we don't have to declare a column index because we are already selected our column. So I simply close the parentheses for index function and hit enter. And if I take the suggested autofill by Google Sheets, we can copy down the formula to all cells here. And let's go to our second sheet. If you remember in our VLOOKUP video, by the way, if you haven't watched it, I'm going to paste the link in the description below so that you can also watch our video for VLOOKUP function. As you will remember from our VLOOKUP video, the search key should be located at the first column of the range. And in this case, we had to move this C column to the in front of this A column. But with this index and match, we don't have such a limitation. So we can simply continue with our formulas. So I'm going to start with an index function here. This time I'm going to declare the row number and column index because we are going to find for two different columns. So index reference is because we are going to check the ID number, name and surname, and the last order date. I am going to highlight all this range here, press F4 key to lock it, and come back here. Let's close this down. Oops, sorry. Index. Let's quickly highlight here. Press F4 key, comma, match. What we are going to look for is name and surname. Sorry, for this ID number. Sorry. To ID number to fetch the name and surname from this table. And range is where I'm going to search for this ID in this column here. So go down, press F4 key to get the row number, do a 0 for an exact match, and then column index back. We are going to type match again, press tab to accept it, and search key is this one, comma, the range is in this range, according to this range, from A to E. Press F4 to lock it and do a 0. Close the parenthesis for match and close the parenthesis for index function and hit enter. So for this ID number, the name and surname is Alice Smith. I can drag down this formula, but before that, we have to lock this, because when I drag it down, it will also move to one row down. So if I don't do this, let me show you what happens if I don't do this. I1, and I simply drag it down. You see, it gives an NA error because here it tries to find this Alice Smith in this range, but there is no Alice Smith in the header. That's why we have to lock this header for column index. And now I can easily copy the formula down. Also, I want to copy to the formula to the right, and to do that, I simply remove this $sign because I need to move to the next column. So when I drag it to the right, it will be J1, but I have to lock the row number here. So I simply remove the first dollar from our reference in the match function. Now I can drag it to right. Sorry, this one should be H2. We also have to lock it. This is the problem here. So let's make it again here to make it correct copying. When I move it to the right, this H should be fixed. So I have to put a $sign in front of H so that I can now copy to right to find it. Now I can simply drag it down and we get the result for name and surname and the last order date from this table. Just like VLOOKUP function, we can also get the data from an external sheet or a different file or different sheet. So let's clean this up. And we have the table here, our table here, and I want to extract the data to here from this tab or sheet. So what I'm going to do is first index. Reference is name, email, and phone. So I'm going to copy all these down. Press F4 key to lock it. And type match here. What I want to search is this one, comma, where I am going to search for it, again here in this table, in our original table or source table. And press F4 key to lock this range again. Do a 0 for an exact match. This is the row number, right? And secondly, what happened here? Somehow it broke the formula. Anyway, we can continue to our column index part of our index function. search key is, let's close this down, here this one, comma, where I'm going to search for it, here, so that it's going to get the column index from our original table. So I hit enter, and now it says Alice Smith for this A7B3C unique ID. Right. So just like the previous example, I want to move this formula to the right and then copy it down. So let's make our necessary changes in the formula. First of all, let's adjust our row number section. So in the first match function, we have to log this A column, because when I go to write, still it has to check the same ID number. And secondly, for the column index part, I have to put our $sign in front of the column index so that it's always going to check the headers here. So when I hit enter, and let's first reject it. So first let me copy it to the right. Yes, we get the results from the original data, and we are going to copy it down. So with one single formula, with the necessary changes, we can copy our formula to the right and then down and fill all the table here. And finally, just like we did with the VLOOKUP function, suppose we are going to find the tax rate or the score, the grade for a student based on this cumulative score. We can also use the approximate match part of the match function. So again, we are going to find the tax rate for those people according to their annual salary. So first start with index function again. So where is our reference? Our reference is here. Press F4 key to lock it. Then we are going to find approximately in which range it's going to fall in those numbers. It is going to check those salaries and find approximately in which row it falls in. So match function we are going to use again. Our search key is this one, comma, where it is going to search for it here in our annual salary table. Press F4 to lock it. Now instead of 0, we are going to type 1 for an exact approximate match. Close the parentheses. And if you would like to, of course, we can use the match function again for the column type or column index. And what we are going to find is this one, or we can say this one, it doesn't matter. And F4 to lock it. And then what it's going to check is here. Press F4 to lock it again. Do 0 for an exact match. Close the first parentheses for match and the second one for the index function. And it is 25%. Let's reject it and let's check for this annual salary. As you can see, this $78,500 falls into this range. In other words, it's greater than $65,000 and less than $90,000. So it has to pay the 25% tax based on this annual salary. Now, after our check, we can simply drag it down by double-clicking on this fill handle. So that's it about the index and match function. As you can see, it is actually very practical and very easy way of extracting data. It doesn't matter whether it is a big table or a data set you have or a small one, you can easily use it. Some people prefer to use VLOOKUP function, and some of them use this index and match combination. Personally, I mostly go for this index and match combination because of that limitation in VLOOKUP function. I used to switch to this combination maybe 1 decade ago. So from that time, it's like I got accustomed to using this index and match combination in our professional life. So I hope you like the video. If you like the content, please remember to subscribe our YouTube channel and like the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.